my name is Jessica Kelemen, and I work at MGH as a project manager. And so I come over to the center on scan days when we bring in study participants for a 2-day intensive visit. And we have kind of a back-to-back scan schedule going. So that's what I'm around Martinos for. I've been doing it for like 4 years, I think, and I was always interested in martial arts, but didn't really get to do it as a kid. And so when I became older and realized that I could start new hobbies, I was like, oh, well, I'll try out some martial arts. And I was already a member of the YMCA, and so I just kind of looked around to see what classes the YMCA offers. And there was a karate class in Chinatown. So I actually started with karate, and I did that for about 6 months, and it was fun in the beginning, but I ended up kind of burning out quickly. I was walking to the bike shop and just kind of passed a jiu-jitsu studio and looked in the window and saw a bunch of people like rolling around on the ground together, grappling. And I was like, that looks really cool. And I was like, note to self, I'm going to look into that. And so I came back and tried it out and loved it. I was like, yeah, from day one, I was like, yep, this is the martial art for me. So they teach you closed guard, which is where you start on your back and you wrap your legs around the body of the person in front of you. So the other person will be sitting on their knees and you wrap your legs around them. And so you have them in your hold. And we call that closed guard because the legs are closed around them. And so the first move is learning how to hold closed guard and then learning how to escape from closed guard. And very quickly after you get past the beginner phase, you learn how to open your guard. You put your legs on the hips of the person, and you're still in a position of power. But if you need a moment to reset, going back to closed guard and readjusting your grips is like a really good basic place to start. I definitely have go-to moves. It was funny, like early on in my jiu-jitsu career, I went to this seminar and they taught this move called puppet guard. It has a couple other names. Spider guard is another name. And the rest of the class back at my gym, like a few of us went to the seminar, but most of the gym did not go to the seminar and therefore did not know this move. And like for some reason in the seminar, this move clicked really well for me. And I went back to the gym and I just would get people with it constantly. And that probably went on for like 6 months. And like my instructor would go around telling everyone, watch out for Jessica's puppet guard. And they would call me the puppet master and things like that. They called the puppet guard because it's like you put your foot up in someone's arm and you hold their sleeve so that they can't really like use their arm. And like, you're kind of moving them around like a puppet. I think a lot of people come in and feel kind of weird about how intimate the contact is. And but a lot of people are like willing to try. They're like, that's weird. And they kind of like, they're very nervous about invading your bubble. And like, you know, consent is very important in this situation of always like making sure that your partner is comfortable with coming into your bubble. But it is just kind of about working past that and getting used to being around other people's bodies and getting close and not being afraid to put all your weight on top of them. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to crush you. And it's like the human body can handle a lot. So I chose to not go for a while until after the vaccine came out, actually. But what I did instead was my boyfriend had no jiu-jitsu experience, and I was talking about how much I missed it. And he was like, well, if you want, you can teach me. And I was like, really? So I taught my boyfriend jiu-jitsu so that I would have someone to roll with. And he actually got pretty good. And so it was a really good workout because he was able to put up a fight, and I stopped being able to get chokes and joint locks on him. And
You figured out puppet guard.
yeah.
Well, that's awesome, Jessica. That's really cool. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me about the jiu-jitsu. This is great.